by Mr. Hansi. Any comments? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And the motion passes. Number 7, public hearing. There is none this evening. Number 8, general business. 8A, consideration of receiving explanation and recommendation from Tom Nygon, Star Engineering Services regarding the materials bid opening of February 23rd, 2012, and the labor bid opening of March 1st, 2012 for the electric distribution project to replace and relocate overhead and underground distribution with new overhead and underground distribution in connection with the levee recertification project and other electrical system upgrades. Information is to be presented to the Electric Commission at the next regular meeting, stating the fact report. Mr. Nygon is here right now.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm here just to bring you up to date on the Electric Commission's activities for some projects, electric distribution projects. We met in December and possibly another time, and there is some electric facilities on the levee that need to be relocated, and some of those projects will be starting as soon as the contractor will start this spring. So the Electric Commission asked us to get some bids as quick as possible so we could be ready to remove that electric equipment by the time the levee work began. Also at the same time, the Electric Commission wondered if there was some other project that should be done at the same time, because when you go out for bids, the bigger the bids you get, the more interest you get with contractors, the more competitive bids you've got. So what we did then is we sat down with the Electric Commission and identified 2 other projects that were a good time to go out for bids because they adjoin the same area as the levee projects, fit into there. And those 2 projects will be discussed with the Electric Commission at their next meeting. But the ones we wanted to talk about tonight, to continue, at least to get your information on, because there is a timing issue on these. The material has a lead time up to 2 months. And as you know, with spring like it's weather we've got, these contracts will probably be starting soon. Until we get the material signed, the bid, the approval for the material bid, you'll have 2 months before you'll get material for some of the major equipment. So that's why the Electric Commission wanted us to move as quickly as possible as we could for these bids. So I think in front of you, you have a summary of the bids that we received, and it's on table 1. There is 4 projects that we have there. Let me go to table 2 and 3 first, because table 1 is an engineering estimate using the lowest bid. But on table 2, there is the bids that came in were 4 contractors, and these are fairly good-sized contractors: Legacy, MJ Electric, Push, and Carey and Peterson. And as you can see, the bids, there was 3 bids that were pretty competitive: MJ, Push, and Carey and Peterson. We were pleased with these bids because yes, to get 3 of them that close together shows they are competitive bids. The low bidder was Push out of Rice Lake, Wisconsin, for $421,005, and that's for all 4 projects. The way we submitted this bid was to let them know that they could get awarded all 4 projects, 1 project, 2 or 3, or none projects. Depends upon the funding availability. Material bids, we had 2 bidders, as you can see there in table 3, Border States Electric and Irby. Both of them very competitive bids. Again, Irby came in at a low bid of $261,570. So in general, we were pleased with these bids. It shows a good competitive environment still in the labor and material markets. Any questions so far on this? Table 1 is the engineering estimate now for all 4 projects. Let me just explain those a little bit. Levee 1 project, the estimate is for $234,000. That's the total project cost to remove the facilities from the levees that are going to have work on them, improvements. So those have to be done in order for the contractors to do the levee work. Levee 2, which is on the over there towards the end column there, that's to remove any additional electric facilities that Rushford Municipal owns that are in the levee easement area. And the reason we did that is because the Army Corps of Engineers identified certain facilities that they recommended to be removed. So at the same time, we did a submittal to get rid of all the electric distribution within the levee easements. So those 2 projects together come to $643,341. So that would be the cost for the levee. The other two projects, the WP is a work plan project, which is to upgrade some underground cable and transformers along the Money Creek area. That is about $73,000. And then there's some reject poles that have been tested and need to be replaced, and that's around $18,500. Again, those two projects the Electric Commission will have to review because they have not seen the information on those two yet. So that's the information that I wanted to present, and just to let you know, there is a timing issue until we get approval to go ahead with these. Once we get that approval date, then we're about 2 months out before we get the material to start the projects. Is there anything, Steve, or that I missed that else you wanted me to talk about?
I don't think so. I think the bids are a lot more competitive and lower price than what I think we had anticipated. And this is gonna clear all of the concerns up to the levies, so hopefully Corps won't be back demanding us to move things in the future. Get them all done now.
It just clears all of that electrical that we were worried about.
And would that mean that there would be only one bore under the creek?
Right now, we have submitted for 3 bores under the creek, so we have to get approval from the Army Corps for those bores.
The concern is if we stay overhead on the creek, you're gonna need some beefed up pole structures with the guy wires on the side, the anchors, and it's gonna look really bad. So it's a lot more expensive to do it this way, but visually it's gonna be better.
When talking to the contractors, did they give you any kind of a preferred starting date?
All of them were flexible, could start in April, all the labor contractors, so I think right now everybody is looking for some work, so I think that's why we got some pretty competitive bids and some flexible schedules.
As far as the materials go, is there any possibility of working out of current inventory and then replacing?
There is, some of them do have some current inventory, so, you know, again, once we, give us the okay to negotiate with them, they might have some current inventory that could get us started on the projects. You know, especially one thing right now is aluminum has gone up in price and it's a little bit scarce, but they do keep a stock of aluminum cable, so that's good to know.
I think that's another thing for the council to understand is it's not just moving these facilities, but they're being upgraded because they're being moved. So we're not just taking old wire and reusing it. It's new stuff, so it's gonna be that much better.
How far do we go up Money Creek? Is that all the way to, well?
Yeah. Pretty well.
I have kind of a sketch showing the different areas if, well, give you an idea if you want to take one and pass it around, but,
Did it extend past the well house? I'm not sure.
Another question, what timeframe is the Corps of Engineers expecting to utilize or to need for approval for the bore underneath the creek?
I'm not sure. That's a good question. We'd have to, they know the schedule and our concerns, so once we are given the approval to go ahead, we'll be in contact with them, let them know and see if we can move it along.
Expedite?
Yes, expedite.
So then this,
The Money Creek is that WP project. You can see on the first page it starts here, then the second page it shows it. So that's where that work plan project, how far that extends. It looks like it goes up to East Glenview Street and East Pine Street.
Well house is right there.
that includes all the hookups to the homes?
No, not necessarily. The major thing is to do the underground primary cable, the high voltage cable, and all of the transformers. So as far as to the house, those we would not be installing new unless there was some reason that we're relocating, like a transformer, and now the new location, we have to add a different location, then we'd be installing new.